It sounds like something out of a science fiction movie. Scientists creating a new cell, a living cell with computer-assembled DNA.
But the story is all too real, and it could lead to great breakthroughs in fields like medicine or deadly bioweapons. Jennifer Wishon has the story.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
It's the kind of thing once only imagined in the movies. But now a team of scientists have produced a living cell powered by man-made DNA.
One that we made by starting with the genetic code in the computer, 4 bottles of chemicals, and building every one of the million-plus base pairs in the right order, and then finally having this large molecule, inserting it in a recipient cell.
The bacterium then transformed into a completely new species and reproduced billions of times. Venter, a well-known geneticist, says the project is the first step towards the ultimate goal of designing organisms that work differently from the way nature intended. They could be used to turn algae into fuel, manufacture vaccines, and clean up oil spills. But in the hands of bioterrorists, the discovery could have devastating effects, perhaps allowing them to create a deadly new virus. And what about greater ethical questions? Even the movies portray men trying to play God as lunatics.
In the name of God, now I know what it feels like to be God.
We don't know what will happen with these novel organisms or even novel species in the future once they're released into nature. So we don't know the effects on overall ecology or even on the health of man as we continue to move forward in this scientific developments.
Just how sophisticated is the cell? Its DNA sequence is more than 1 million base pairs long. By comparison, the human genome is far larger, more than 3 billion base pairs long. Scientists still have a lot to learn before the discovery creates anything useful, but it has already changed the world of science forever. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News.
When you get past the headlines on this and get into the actual science, there's some really unique things going on here. But to make an analogy, it's kind of like a carpenter building a table and then not crediting the tree for the wood. Here, that's exactly what's going on. They're assembling things based on existing DNA fragments that have existed for millions of years. And so to say somehow this is man-made synthetic DNA misses the point. But it is unique in that a computer put the strand together from disparate sources and then they inserted this into a cell which had no DNA, and it activated and it became alive. Now that is brand new, and that is a Frankenstein type moment. To show you how complicated it is, the first time they did it, it didn't work. And you've got 1 million base pairs. They sent the computer to go find what was wrong, and they found 1 base pair out of alignment, 1 base pair that wasn't right in 1 million, and that's what caused the first trial to fail. They fixed that, and now it's alive. So and on top of being alive, it's self-replicating. So that is something brand new. On some levels, it's very scary. On other levels, it means we can actually engineer life. George Thomas has the rest of our top stories from the CBN Newsroom. George?
Thank you, Gordon. The House and Senate have passed major financial reform measures that include new regulations for the housing market and Wall Street. The bills create new standards for mortgages, but they don't fix Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which played a large part in the housing crisis. The Senate bill also cracks down on trading in derivatives by banks. Some critics think the bills go too far.
This is going to get into everybody's pockets. And I'm not talking about businesses. I'm talking about individuals.
The House and Senate bills must still be merged by a joint committee, and some parts of the measures are likely to be changed or dropped. The global financial crisis will be one of the topics on the agenda as Christians around the globe will gather in their churches and homes to seek God for their nations this Sunday. The annual Global Day of Prayer is held on Pentecost Sunday. This year marks the 10th anniversary of the event. Thousands will gather at the Newlands Rugby Stadium in Cape Town, South Africa, site of the first Global Day of Prayer. This year's prayer focus includes the HIV/AIDS epidemic, crime, corruption, government corruption, and the world economy. Mortgage rates are down again, falling to their lowest levels of the year. The average for a 30-year fixed mortgage is now 4.84%. Interest rates have fallen after the crisis in Europe, but the lower rates may come too late for many homeowners, as a record number of homeowners are falling behind on their mortgage payments. Over 10% missed at least one payment between January and March. Gordon, it's just awful how so many people are in the midst of losing their homes in this age.
That's true, George, and we had a record number last month, a record number of homes in America going into foreclosure. I hope that the new interest rates, these lower interest rates, will enable more to be able to keep their homes, be able to refinance, and certainly stimulate that, and hopefully stimulate a market for buyers again. We need to have some real changes here.